Hello and welcome to the channel. Today I'm going to talk about the Peloton Bike versus the NordicTrack S22i Studio Cycle. I'll list some pros and cons of each, and I'll also tell our experience. We bought our Peloton Bike in 2015 and we really liked it. My wife really liked the classes and I really liked the outdoor simulation riding. We had previously bought a treadmill from Nordic Track back in 2013 and really liked it. So right away we were in two different ecosystems, and I knew that, but it was at the time it was only $5 a month for the treadmill, so it didn't bother me too much. Well, in 2019 we started trying to figure out some ways to save money, and on top of that, Nordic Track increased their fee for the treadmill up to $15 a month. So I decided to start considering options. And the option that I came up with was to sell the Peloton Bike and to buy a Nordic Track S22i Studio Cycle. And I'll just tell you a little bit about that. Luckily, I was able to sell the Peloton for $1,500 locally, and I actually had quite a few people wanting to buy it. And I should say that we really did like the bike. It was really sturdy. There's nothing against it. I was just looking at a way to save some money, and I'll show you the savings. It was pretty significant here in a minute. I'll go over some pros and cons of each. For one, the Nordic Track came with a year's worth of service, and that amounts to quite a bit of money. And I could have went the other direction and I could have bought a Peloton Tread, but those things are like $4,000, and then I would have been in the same ecosystem for both and only paid the one fee. So we went the direction to get both Nordic Track pieces of equipment. I'll break down the cost on what they cost new as of October 14th of 2019. If you're all in on the Peloton, it's $22.49 plus tax, and then $39 a month for membership. Just to give you an idea of what we paid back in 2015, we paid $28.49 for the bike. I think that did include a year's worth of service at the time. I think I just prepaid it, and then maybe some shoes and dumbbells or something. For the iFit, it's $19.99 plus tax, but it includes a one-year membership. So back in July when I bought it, we were all in for $26.40. Then I was able to sell the Peloton for $1,500. Now I'll go over some pros and cons of each bike. For one, the Nordic Track monthly plan is way cheaper. I was able to buy a one-year card off of eBay for $75.73. Now that's versus the $513.72 that I would have paid for Peloton after tax per year. So it's quite a bit of cost savings on that. The Nordic Track had a much better outdoor live situation. It was actually video with an instructor in front of you and more interactive, although it is just recorded. It also is able to adjust the incline so the bike moves up and down. That does make the bike take up a little bit more space, however, and the bike does that automatically, either based off Google Street Views or the trainer that you're following. The trainer can also increase or decrease resistance, and that's just kind of neat. You can do it with the knob on the Peloton, but you do have to do it manually. The Nordic Track has a fan, which is nice. It's not super powerful. I end up using another fan anyway, but it does blow right in your face, and it's nice. The Peloton does not have that. I'll go over some cons now. A con of the Nordic Track is that it's not nearly as stable as the Peloton. The Peloton is rock solid. The Nordic Track wobbles a little bit. It's not crazy or anything, but it does wobble, and it does creak a little bit sometimes. I don't think it was creaking in the crank so much as I think it's just creaking in the seat post maybe, and maybe I just need to tighten that down. The Peloton comes with some reasonably good pedals. They are clip-in ones. They want you to get the shoes. The pedals that the Nordic Track comes with are not nearly as good as the ones that the Peloton comes with. The ones that the Nordic Track comes with are just flat pedals with some baskets on top, and that's how you're able to pull up. The Peloton comes with more of a road bike cleat. The downside is you do need a shoe for that, and you clip into it. You wouldn't really be able to ride the Peloton without a clip-in style cleat. I guess you could ride it. It just wouldn't be very comfortable or very efficient. It wouldn't be a good idea, I guess I would say. Another disadvantage of the iFit system that the Nordic Track uses is the classes are all recorded. There is no live studio. Therefore, there's no leaderboard. So on the Peloton system, you can actually have a class that you're taking that they're doing in the studio at the same time. And the coach could actually call your name out and give you a shout out or whatnot. And you could see how you're ranked compared to everyone else in the studio. And you can also see how you're ranked against previous people who have taken the ride, even if you watch it later recorded. So that leaderboard is kind of neat. iFit doesn't seem to have that. Peloton has a way better community, from what I can tell. The Peloton people are really into it. I haven't really seen that with iFit. But then again, like I said, the outdoor simulation ride was way better on the Nordic Track. Another just thing I'm going to throw in here, a way to save some money, is that Peloton will want you to buy a $60 mat. They don't necessarily push it really, but they have it. You can buy a much cheaper mat from a farm supply store. I got one for $39. Actually, that's the one for the treadmill, I guess, that I have. It's a big one. The one for the Peloton bike, actually you can buy for $25. So they're much thicker and more industrial grade. So that's another way you can save some money. Speaking of saving some money, I'll go over a spreadsheet here with the savings. The Peloton monthly after tax is $42.81. After do that for a year, you come out with $513.72. The iFit Coach is about $16.50 after tax for $198 a year. However, I was able to find the iFit Coach on a card that I got off eBay, and I paid $75.73 for that for a year, which comes out to only $6.31 per month. So that gave me a yearly savings of $437.99. However, if you remember, the Nordic Track bike came with a year free savings. So from what I was paying, the $513.72 plus the $437.99 over 2 years, I'm going to be saving $951.71. Between that and just really liking the outdoor simulation experience much better, that was a big driver for us to move. I ride the bike quite a bit more than my wife does, and she was willing to sacrifice the studio rides since she didn't ride it that much anyway. So in summary, if you want to save some money, the Nordic Track and the iFit membership off eBay, that's the way to go. If money's not a big deal to you, the Peloton's a really nice bike, and the studio classes are really nice for those of you that like that. However, I think that the outdoor riding simulation is much better on the Nordic Track. Also, I will do a quick shout out to Dave Ramsey and Financial Peace University. That's sort of what got my wife and I starting to look at our monthly finances and looking at paying off our debt as soon as possible. If you haven't heard of it, it's pretty neat and I highly recommend it. I'll put a link in the show notes. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, please like and subscribe.